Recording from the most expensive condo in all of Durham, 1411 Old Forest Road. Designed by yours truly, me. How did we end up in the most expensive condo in all of Durham?
I'd have to say you took pencil and graph paper and you started designing it like 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Really, this house is very, very, very unique because it's a vision that I actually had in pen to paper type of thing, and it actually became a physical thing that you can actually live in right now. The purpose behind this house is that to have that multi-family generational home, but still maintain a sense of a little bit of separation, privacy type of thing. Where we are at right now, it just doesn't make sense anymore. So this is a house, this is not just a condo. This most expensive condo comes with actually a house that's about 5,000 square feet, not just a 600 and something square foot condo. But really the idea is that I've always wanted to live in a big house. I've had another big house before too, but it wasn't big enough.
I feel like a lot of people, when they meet Hussein, they kind of think of you, they call it, a few people have called you a coconut, where you're like pretty white for a brown guy, but deep down Hussein truly had this like brown guy vision of having like a, big family, people coming in and out and all of this stuff.
There's a old Indian movie out there, Hum Sat Sat Hai.
That was Hussein's vision. Yeah, like everyone
anyways, long story, not for this podcast. But anyways, the idea behind the house is that obviously multi-generational, but also at the same time, I want to live in this big luxury type of house in a nice neighborhood and whatever else like that. And then the opportunity came up to do it. So basically, obviously went through with it and built it, drew from a lot of the features that the previous house had and kind of incorporated into this, but actually even ended up making it better, I would say. But the reality happens is, like, I remember my old boss when I used to work at Applica, Craig, man, this guy's amazing, previously owned a Corvette, and he was telling me about it. And at that time I was like, man, I really want a Viper. And he's like, dude, it's not going to be the same thing. Like, you think you want this thing until you get it. He's like, I've been there, don't do it. But these are the things that you have to kind of go through. I think if you have this personality, that you have to go through yourself and experience it yourself. Like, in fact, when we're building it, like, Amanda was basically like, you're nuts. Like, and so many other people are like, you're so nuts. Like, what are you going to do with this? So basically the house above grade is about 5,000 square feet. Below grade is 2,000 square feet. So it's 7,000 square feet. And they're like, you guys are 2, maybe 3 people. Like, are you nuts? What are you doing? But
I feel like it's also like what you call the big American Canadian dream. Yeah. Like, you just like kind of like how you grew up, you just wanted more for yourself. And I feel like this was like that. And I remember even because we moved through a lot of homes over the last 5 years, even when we would like pack bins or go through stuff to declutter and things like that, there was always at least one picture or one, vision that came out that was for this house.
Basically reflecting this house.
And it was just houses that you've seen over the last few years, things you like, things you didn't like, and you kind of put it together that, hey, this is what I'm going to build. And it was just kind of cool to see that everything that we kept taking out of these bins was what you kind of put all together and you ended up with it.
Yeah. Like, I think the house itself, like from a design perspective, was very cool because you can't even do this anymore in the city of Pickering because they changed the bylaws. And so basically the way that the house is set up is that the garage is kind of in the front of the house and angled, and the house is behind it. So being the lot that it is, it's like a 50-foot lot, a little bit narrower than I would have liked, but it worked, 50 foot, but it's 235 feet. So it's like you almost have like 80 to 100 feet to get to the front door. Yeah. And then from the back door, you almost have like 100 feet to the back property line. So it's a very cool lot in that kind of aspect, and it's very private in that way too. But the cool part about the house is that it is a very functional family home. And where we're sitting in the most expensive condo part of it right now is that it's an independent condo that's on top of a garage, on top of a 3-car garage that's independent in the sense of it has its own kitchen, its own laundry, its own washroom, living room, dining room, bedroom, walk-in closet, and its own HVAC unit. So it's independently heated, cooled. It has an HRV of its own as well. So it is a very unique type of property.
And I don't know if probably they can see in the camera, it's mostly windows and it is walls. So there's like a very unique feeling even sitting in here. Like, your lights could be off and the windows are just doing the job for you. Yeah.
And even my idea is that I didn't want to skimp out on the accessory unit, if you want to call it. Like, if we look at the kitchen that's downstairs in the main, it has these nice uppers with glass light, or like glass and like lights on the top. It's exactly the same thing. So there was nothing that was skimped out on. This condo itself, the revisions of this thing was crazy. Like, I think we went through so many different drawings before we settled on it. And even after we settled on it and started building, we still had to change change it because when you actually saw it come together, there was things that didn't actually work out at that point. So we actually modified things on the go. Aside from just this condo unit that is up here, like a lot of the ideas also came from like COVID, right? Like where you were locked in. And my idea was, because we were like actually planning the build during that time as well, is like, how can you actually, because I felt like there is going to be another pandemic after COVID clears, and there still could be, but how can you kind of live in one space and have everything that you actually need at the same time? So that's where I really kind of thought about the basement as well. Is like, I like to work out and have a gym or whatever, and I don't really like going to any other gym.
I was going to say, I think along with COVID and wanting to have everything, you know, kind of in the same hub, you did a pivot of like lifestyle as well. I think you focused more on your health in that time, and you wanted things that improved your own personal life versus anything else. I think there was a combination
for
of
sure.
two things,
And like even having the gym downstairs in the basement over here, and a nice gym at that, right? Like glass walls, and full mirror. It looks really sick. I want to be down there, and it would be so tough for me. And I know some people say that it's hard for them to go to the gym, or it's hard for them to work out at home, but they rather go to the gym. For me, I'm complete opposite. Like I want to wake up in the morning and roll downstairs and go to my gym.
And as much as you like to talk, I think people think you're a very social person and you're an extrovert. Like Hussein does not talk to people. So like people. Going to the gym is another like daunting thing for you.
Yeah, I don't want to go. So downstairs having that. And then at the same time, like I wanted extra like wellness part of the whole thing. So I thought it would be pretty cool to have a steam shower. So that wasn't part of it when I started the build, but when I started looking at things, I was like, dude, we could add a steam shower. It's not as cheap as you guys think it is. So it's like, because you're already building, just add a steam shower. No, it costs a lot more money to add a steam shower to the whole thing. But yeah, so the basement was actually functional, very functional. So there's an area that we were going to design as like a theater. Right now we have a sofa there, but like it's all set up, pre-wired for actually a home theater system. There's a pool table downstairs. There's actually a very cool bar. Like I said, we have the gym, we have the washroom with the steam shower. But a cool part is that we have a walk up into the backyard. So, and it's not one of those dingy walk-ups. Like initially, like the builder was kind of suggesting this little door with this little cavity, and I'm like, I don't like that. So we actually have two full French doors that open up, and like there's a nice staircase kind of going upstairs. And the way that it's designed is that when you go up the staircase, like you're just taking another staircase, turning right around and taking another staircase right onto the deck. So I kind of thought of that as well, as like, hey, it's an inside-outside type of party, right? So like if you're outside on the deck and you want to come to the basement, like you're just kind of like making a quick little U-turn and coming downstairs. So all of that stuff was kind of thought of, right?
I was also going to say, I think that if anyone ever builds their home, that's the cool part of it, that you get to design everything from scratch the way that you wanted to, which is everything just makes sense. And I was going to say we might be a little bit biased, but even the people that have walked through the home, like our photographer and other family and friends, they always say it just flows. Like once you go in, you're kind of just moving around. You get to the basement, you can get to things very easily. It just has a nice open concept like flow to it.
Yeah. And I think it's a very cool thing. Like you have a picture in your brain, like when the house is built, how you're going to live in it, how your lifestyle is going to look, but it's completely different when you're inside of the house, right? So it's like, I had this vision of like everything's nicely stocked and this and that, but someone has to do that. So it's not just about having the house. What I realized is that for me, I need a house manager. Like I need someone to go through the house and stock the fridge. And obviously I'm not doing that. So it's like, you didn't hit the same thing. So what you start to realize is that what my old boss told me, Craig, right? It's like when you get something, it's not exactly what you wanted. And what Rob Vivian, my coach, also says, and other people say, is that it's about the journey. And that's the thing that I'm most thankful for about this whole build is that the journey. I learned so much that you can't actually learn unless you actually go through the experience. Not just about the building process, but about life in general, right? And how your things change once you get certain things, right? So now people look at this house and say, wow, you have such a nice, cool house. But I'm over the fact of the house, right?
The feeling is not there. I think Hussein was most excited during the build. Like I remember we were stopping on our way to the office. We were stopping on the way back. At lunch, like there were times we were at the house two or three times daily.
Sometimes longer than we were at the office.
And like we'd walk through, there was an exciting part, like getting, seeing things get built. Like I remember even there was like, there was a time where the heated floors were being done in the basement bathroom and the main ensuite bathroom. And we've never seen how a heated floor is put together. So like learning how that works. I feel like the exciting part of seeing all of this stuff come together was the most exciting for you. I remember like the week that you moved in, you were like, okay, like.
I think as soon as they were like, give you the keys or whatever else, I was not interested.
You were kind of over it even at that point. Yeah, you're just like, okay.
But so the part was cool. But the whole thing was built around like multi-family living, right?
Yes.
And even the way that the basement is designed is that there is like a wall that goes right from the electrical panel. That same wall goes to where the bar is right now. So if we wanted to slide another electrical wire there and there's space to do it, like you could actually make that into a separate unit itself,
full
right?
kitchen, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so like technically you can have 3 families living in here because you have a total of about 7,000 square feet. So it is very practical in order to do something like that as well. So the way that it's set up is that like even if somebody's living in this upstairs unit and doesn't want to interfere with the house, there's a side entrance. You go through the side entrance, you can take the elevator upstairs. That's right, elevator. You take the elevator upstairs and come up into this unit, and then the rest of the house is very functional as well, including the basement. So I feel like it's an entertainer slash multi-family, and you're located in a very good neighborhood. And the part I liked about the neighborhood as well is that even if you go to Google Maps and you look at it and you look at how this street is on Old Forest and like High Bush, what you will notice is even if you look at neighborhoods around it, you will see there's so many houses. And when you look at this over here, you'll see more trees and houses are spread apart. And really there's no 2 same house on the street at all.
Yes,
everything is like
different.
very unique. So
I remember even when we were putting this house up for sale, or there was a lot of conversation about listing out the features and things like that. I said, yeah, there's a list of all the upgrades and features and things like that. But there's just a feeling, I told Hussein, this is just something that you can put in a video, you can put in like a reel to say, like when you wake up and you look out your window, like Hussein mentioned, it's 100 feet from where the deck is to the end of the property, but then the next house is also 100 feet further from that. So all you see are mature trees and all you hear are birds, and I absolutely hate birds. So, but the feeling of waking up and looking at the trees and listening to the birds, it's just something
it's
that you
cool
cannot,
feeling.
it's just a feeling.
And like even in the backyard, it feels so private. Like even though that there are houses beside you, there's houses behind you, but because of the mature trees and the way that they even grow out up until this point here right now, like you really can't see anything in the backyard.
Yeah,
it's like your
weird.
own private, like kind of forest.
Yeah, I was telling Hussein, it feels like we're getting old because this nature feeling is like the best part of waking up.
And I mean, the plans were pretty excessive for this house as well, right? So there's a lot of stuff that I already mentioned that's kind of pre-engineered into the house. Like there's like a 60 amp wire that's hanging at the side of the house right now. Don't worry, it's not connected to the electrical panel, but it's already pre-wired over there. So if you wanted to do a cabana, you want to do a pool, there's like hot water line at the side of the house right now. Oh, and by the way, when we installed the sod, I actually was running hot water instead of cold water for the longest time, and we're wondering why we don't have any hot water. But our grass is amazing. So if you actually put down new sod, I advise watering it with hot water.
It worked out very nicely for us.
But even like this small thing, like see, I mentioned hot water, like we have a 3-car garage. Each one of those 3-car garage bays is actually designed to have a car hoist in there. So all 3 of those, you can actually put a car hoist in there. There's hot water inside of there as well. So
I was gonna say, from a practical and like functionality purpose, I feel like it covers everything. Yes, you could look at the backyard and say, hey, there's no pool there and things like that, but I feel like all the mechanisms are there to eventually make that. And I joke around because again, we were building during COVID times and everything went up like crazy. I think 30% more than what you were anticipating to pay. And I told Hussein like all of our cool budget went into plumbing and electrical and boring stuff. So there's no pool and things like that. But if you want to do a pool, you can, and you won't have to do anything crazy to kind of, set up the foundation of it.
I think also like this house, ideally, and it could work for a lot of different people, but I feel like ideally it works for somebody that maybe has a parent or something else like that. They need their own space. They still want the privacy, but they want to keep that parent close by, but still have, again, that separation, that privacy. I think this kind of caters to it. And there are scenarios where we've seen people that have like their parents' house or whatever, and their parents' house, they lived in that house. It's been their family home and they've lived in it for 20 years, and the house now is paid off. And maybe when they bought it, it was like $500,000, and now that house is like close to $2 million, and it's basically paid off. And now this kid, or I should say like a 30-year-old or whatever, is going to buy their first place for a townhouse for like $900,000. So we've seen these people that are kind of interested in this type of property, right? So where they still have the separation, transaction, but it's like these two people that own a house, that want to buy a house, they come together and they can actually buy something that's very, very, very cool, that's very functioning for both of them.
I think I was also going to mention, like how you said, like you would think the in-law suite is good for the elderly and things like that, but we're seeing a lot more that families, like young adults, are not moving out of their houses as quickly as they were before, and affordability, choices, lifestyle, whatever it may be. I think this unit works really well for an adult as well that's getting married and wants to have their own space. I feel like it works both ways. And then we also met a few
people. Or they
people,
could flip after a while too.
Yeah,
you know
I was
mean?
going to say, like, hey, have your own space. You just got married, do your thing. And then once they grow and they have families and they move into the main area. And I think we also know a few people who are very big entertainers. Like, we realize we like having people over, but at the same time, Hussein's very like, oh, you know.
Don't touch my walls.
Don't touch my walls.
Don't touch anything.
So I think
come over, but don't touch anything.
So Hussein wants everyone to come over for sure, but then he'll have rules for you, like, hey, you can't do this and you can't do that. But then there are people who just want people over all the time and they don't care for these things, and they're just big entertainers, and like it works for them as well. So I feel like it serves a lot of people in a lot of communities as well.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not like the right house for us anymore, but it's a very nice house.
I think we could live out of our trailer.
Yeah, we realize we don't need a lot of space to live.
Yeah, well, since we're talking about entertaining too, it's like we've actually had like two of our client parties, like one at the end of 04 and one at the end of 05, right? So we've had like parties in our basement, throughout the house actually, I should say, but like mostly contained in the basement. I think we had 100 people. It got a little warm, but we had 100 people here. We had a catering truck, like an actual truck catering from the driveway and coming into the basement. We had a DJ, we had casino games, we had bartenders. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, like even Hussein tried to find out if he could do the whole red carpet thing too, but they said it's snowing and it's cold and they can't make that happen for him. But I guess our point is that we had 100 people in the home.
In the basement,
yeah. Because everyone wanted to obviously be around where the bar was and the music was and the casino games. But it was just such a cool experience to be able to, and especially as like a realtor, right? Like, you're always in other people's home, but it was the idea that, hey, you're now welcoming all these people into your own. And it was just awesome.
Dude, I think the first year, and not to get too sidetracked, at the end of 04, when we did it the first time, like, we had a bunch of people obviously come over. And then 05, like, people wanted to come over. And we had to actually, like, we couldn't have everyone come by. I mean, 100 people is still a lot to have in a basement, but we had to actually be a little bit more selective.
Yeah, so like pick and choose.
If you guys want, if we have this house at that point and you want to come to our party, well, send us a lead.
I was going to say, if you're buying and selling, then you're invited. Otherwise, I have to see. But yeah, I feel like this house,
it was cool.
It was really cool.
It was such a cool thing to do, to build, to experience. But hey, like,
I remember, I will add this there, when throughout the house build, Hussein was asking me like, oh, what do you want? Like, what would you like to see? And things like that. You were asking me a lot of what I would want to see in the house. And I only cared about two things. One thing was having a pod filler. And the other thing was that hidden pantry. I have not once used the pod filler.
I used it once in a video.
Yeah, just to record a video for the house. So I've never actually had to use it. And the hidden pantry has a lot of baskets in there, but there's no food. So the two things that I said I wanted, never even ended up using.
And that goes to show you, right? Like, I wanted this big house and we can't utilize it. Like, literally we're at the office or out on showings or whatever else like that. I come home, I go to the kitchen, I eat, then I come up to the room. And then in the morning I wake up, I go down to my gym, and this is the end of it.
It's just like, literally, I told the same, we were sitting in the basement, and I said our entire life could actually, like, that 1,800 square feet of basement is perfect for us. That's it. That's all we need. So great realization.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll build another one.
1,800 square feet or less. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone wants to see the house or is interested or wants to know more about how we built and what you kind of went through to get to where you are.
I'm more than happy to share. Like,
if loves chatting.
Even if you are thinking about building a house and you're thinking about ideas or wondering how the process went or how do you finance a build or something else like that, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy and willing to share my experience through it. And I don't know everything about it, obviously, so I can also connect you with the people that I talk to in order to kind of get this thing literally off the ground. All right, guys, so if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out. Calendly link is going to be there as always. And remember one thing, get Kabani,
get sold.
There we go.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.